On July 2021, for 38 minutes, the internet disappeared. Here's why. Have you ever been in the middle of something when your internet connection dropped? It can be incredibly frustrating when it happens. Now imagine if you couldn't get back online for almost an hour. That's exactly what happened to people around the world on Friday, July. For 38 minutes, people were cut off from many of their favorite websites, including Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, the New York Times, and even Reddit. But the most shocking thing about this outage wasn't just that so many sites went down, but also how many went down at once. In fact, it was the largest internet outage in history. So what caused the internet to go down like this? And how can we prevent it from happening again? To answer the first question, there are actually two answers. The first one is kind of technical, so stick with me here. On July, a server in Virginia experienced a power outage. This server was part of the Border Gateway Protocol, or BGP, which is basically like the internet's backbone. When one of these servers goes down, other servers have to reroute traffic, which takes time. While this process was happening, many smaller servers started sending out incorrect information, which caused even more problems. But while that technical explanation might help us understand what happened, it doesn't necessarily tell us why so many different websites were affected. After all, most of the internet still worked just fine. There were still search results on Google, and YouTube videos played just fine. To understand that, let's talk about DNS. Basically, DNS allows users to type in easy-to-remember names instead of complicated strings of numbers. When you type in facebook.com, your computer sends a request to a DNS server asking for the IP address of that website. The DNS server then gives your computer the IP address, and your computer is able to connect to Facebook. But the problem is that there's only a finite amount of IP addresses available. And since there are so many websites out there, many companies end up sharing IP addresses. In fact, Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp all share an IP address. So when Facebook went down, Instagram and WhatsApp went down too. But it gets worse. Many companies use content delivery networks, or CDNs, to help deliver their content faster. Basically, instead of having all of their servers in one place, they store copies of their content on servers all over the world. The problem is that some of these CDN servers were also affected by the BGP routing error, meaning that even if your internet provider was unaffected, you still couldn't access these websites. Now, you might be wondering why this didn't affect things like Google and YouTube. Well, these websites use a technology called Anycast. Instead of having one server host their website, Anycast distributes the website's data across multiple servers. This means that if one server goes down, the others can pick up its slack. This makes these websites more resilient to outages, but it also means that they're more complex and harder to manage. So that's why the internet went down. But the second part of the question, how do we prevent this from happening again, is a bit more difficult to answer. Many experts believe that the best solution is to increase competition in the industry. Right now, there's a lot of consolidation in the internet service provider space, meaning that there aren't a lot of options for customers in many areas. But increased competition could help improve reliability because companies would be more motivated to provide better service if they were worried about losing customers to another provider. Increased competition could also motivate companies to take steps to prevent outages like this from happening in the first place. One way they could do this is by building redundancy into the system. Right now, many internet connections go through just one or two major hubs, which creates a single point of failure. If there's a problem at this hub, the entire network goes down. But if there were multiple paths for data to travel along, then bad weather or a physical attack at one location wouldn't take the entire internet down. Experts also suggest that companies should work on making their systems more decentralized, as we talked about earlier. Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp all share an IP address, which meant that all three websites went down when Facebook's server went down. But if these companies were more decentralized, then if one of their servers went down, their other servers could communicate with each other and keep the services running. The good news is that companies are already working on solutions like these. For example, Facebook is testing ways to make Instagram and WhatsApp more independent of Facebook, and Google is working on a new system called Terra, which will make it easier for users to get on the internet and will also make the internet more resilient. Outages like these are a reminder that the internet is a lot more fragile than we think. But the fact that the major internet companies are already working on solutions to prevent them from happening, again, is a good sign for the future of the internet. So do you have any websites you couldn't live without? Let me know in the comments below. Speaking of things you might want to check out, if you like optimistic science and tech stories, check out our channel. We cover everything from space exploration to artificial intelligence and everything else in between. So go ahead, check it out. You can find the link in the description. Thanks for watching.